Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. जय श्री श्री राधा कालाचांद जी भगवान की जय, श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायामुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकजमालिने नमो पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रे। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 5, chapter entitled The Demigods. Chapter 6, right? I'm sorry. 5 or chapter 6? I forgot. Chapter 5, is it? Okay. Okay. Chapter 5 entitled The Demigods Appeal to the Lord for Protection. So we chant, how do we do this? 16 verses? First 16 verses, right? Okay, fine. Till verse 15. And then the 16th verse we chant. Is that the way it is? Yeah, okay. So we'll read the translations, text 1 onwards. Yeah, that's perfect. We'll all chant together the translation from text 1 to 15. Shukdev Goswami continued, O king, I have described to you the pastime of Gajendra Mokshana, which is most pious to hear. By hearing of such activities of the Lord, one can be freed from all sinful reactions. Now please listen as I describe Raivata Manu. Text 2. The brother of Tamasa Manu was the fifth Manu named Raivata. His sons were headed by Arjuna, Bali and Vindhya. Text 3. O king, in the millennium of Raivata Manu, the king of heaven was known as Vibhu. Among the demigods were the Bhutarayas, and among the 7 Brahmanas who occupied the 7 planets were Hiranyaroma, Vedashira and Urdhva Bhahu. Text 4. From the combination of Shubhra and his wife Vikuntha, there appeared the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vaikuntha, along with demigods who were his personal plenary expansions. Text 5. Just to please the goddess of fortune, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vaikuntha, at her request, created another Vaikuntha planet, which is worshipped by everyone. Text 6. Although the great activities and transcendental qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's various incarnations are wonderfully described, sometimes we are unable to understand them. Yet everything is possible for Lord Vishnu. If one could count the atoms of the universe, then he could count the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But no one can count the atoms of the universe, nor can anyone count the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Text 7. The son of Chakshu, known as Chakshusha, was the sixth Manu. He had many sons headed by Puru, Purusha, and Sudyumna. Text 8. During the reign of Chakshusha Manu, the king of heaven was known as Mantradruma. Among the demigods were the Apyas, and among the great sages were Havishman and Viraka. Text 9. In the sixth Manvantara millennium, Lord Vishnu, the master of the universe, appeared in his partial expansion. He was begotten by Vraja in the womb of his wife Deva Sambhuti, and his name was Ajita. Text 10. By churning the ocean of milk, Ajita produced nectar for the demigods. In the form of a tortoise, he moved here and there, carrying on his back the great mountain known as Mandara. Text 11 and 12. King Parikshit inquired, O great Brahmana, Shukdev Goswami, why and how did Lord Vishnu churn the ocean of milk? For what reason did he stay in the water as a tortoise and hold up Mandara mountain? How did the demigods obtain the nectar, and what other things were produced from the churning of the ocean? Kindly described all these wonderful activities of the Lord. Text 13. My heart, which is disturbed by the three miserable conditions of material life, is not yet sated with hearing you describe the glorious activities of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the master of the devotees. Text 14. Sri Shuta Goswami said, O learned Brahmanas assembled here at Naimisharanya, when Shukdev Goswami, the son of Dvaipayana, was thus questioned by the king, he congratulated the king and then endeavored to describe further the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 15 and 16. So, we'll chant both the verses. Yes? Yeah. Shri Shuka Uvacha Yada Yuddhe Shurer Deva Badhyamanaha Shitayudhe Gatasavo Nipatita Notishtheran Sma Bhurishaha Yada Durvasah Shapena Sendra Lokastrayo Nripa Nishrikaschabavam statra Neshur ijyadaya kriyah. Shri Shuka Uvacha Yada yuddhe surer deva Badhyamanaha shitayudhai Gatasavo nipatita Notishtheran sma bhurishaya Yada durvasa shapena Sendra lokastrayo nripa Nishrikascha bhavamscha tatra Nishrikascha bhavamstatra Neshur ijyadaya kriyah. Shri Shuka Uvacha Yada yuddhe surer Badyamana shita yudhe Gata savo nipatita Notishtheran sma bhurisha Yada durvasah shapena Sendra lokastrayo nripa Nishrikascha bhavam statra Neshurijadaya kriya. Vaishnavis. Haribol. Amazing. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Shrila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Shukdev Goswami said, when the Asuras with their serpent weapons severely attacked the demigods in a fight, many of the demigods fell and lost their lives. Indeed, they could not be revived. At that time, O king, the demigods had been cursed by Durvasa Muni. The three worlds were poverty-stricken and therefore ritualistic ceremonies could not be performed. The effects of this were very serious. Purport. It is described that while Durvasa Muni was passing on the road, he saw Indra on the back of his elephant and was pleased to offer Indra a garland from his own neck. Indra, however, being too puffed up, took the garland and without respect for Durvasa Muni, he placed it on the trunk of his carrier elephant. The elephant, being an animal, could not understand the value of the garland, and thus the elephant threw the garland between its legs and smashed it. Seeing this insulting behavior, Durvasa Muni immediately cursed Indra to be poverty-stricken, bereft of all material opulence. Thus the demigods, afflicted on one side by the fighting demons and on the other by the curse of Durvasa Muni, lost all the material opulences in the three worlds. To be extremely opulent in materialistic advancement is sometimes very risky. The materially opulent person does not care about anyone and thus he commits offenses to great personalities such as devotees and great saints. This is the way of material opulence. As described by Shukdev Goswami, Dana Durmadandha, too much wealth makes one blind. This happens even to Indra in his heavenly kingdom, and what to speak of others in this material world. When one is materially opulent, he should learn to be sober and well behaved toward Vaishnavas and saintly persons. Otherwise, he will fall down. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrupatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyam Ishwaram. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pavchatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yonta pravesha mama vajamimam prasuptan sanjivayata kila shakti dhara swadhamna anyam shahasta charana shravana tvagadin pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam katanchana smrite yasmin duskaram sukaram bhavet vismrite viparitam sya Sri Chaitanya namamitam. Hare Krishna. First of all, I would like to offer sincere gratitude to all the devotees here at Sri Radhakala Chanji Dham. For so many years in our ashram, I would hear about the glories of Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and his disciples, followers, devotees here, serving with quiet fortitude, dedication for decades. It's very inspiring. It's very inspiring because many of us we do emotional bhakti. Oh, I like this, so I do this. But devotees here are practicing existential bhakti, whether I like it or not, whether it's a good day or not. Every day serving Radha Kalachandji happily. So this choice of serving Krishna in all circumstances is very inspiring, and my sincere thank you. Hare Krishna. And today's purport is very sobering. It's, I feel actually honestly unqualified to speak on this. Prabhupada is writing here, when one is materially opulent, he should learn to be sober and well behaved towards Vaishnavas and saintly persons. Otherwise, he will fall down. And also before this, the previous paragraph, Srila Prabhupada is talking about this pastime of Durvas Muni being insulted by Indra. The garland, the Maha garland, is just giving it to the elephant, and he just lost it. So false pride is a topic. And there is gross and subtle pride. Gross is, I'm the best devotee. Gross, like I'm most advanced. Subtle pride is, I want to be seen as somebody who doesn't want to be seen as most advanced. It's very, very subtle. And It's easy to talk about it. Many times I've seen it's easy to talk about love of Krishna. Krishna Prem. We can give a lot of lectures on Krishna Prem and speak about glories of Krishna Prem. But to love Krishna is different than to speak about love of Krishna. I may prefer to speak of love of Krishna than to love Krishna, because to love Krishna I have to surrender. I have to be vulnerable. I have to offer my heart. I have to tolerate other devotees' false egos. I have to not carry any grudges towards other devotees. So that's not easy. So I prefer to speak about the lofty devotional topics. So that's how Maya gets us. And that's why Srila Prabhupada is writing here that when one is materially opulent, we should learn to be sober and well behaved. So there are a few things devotees, sincere practitioners have practiced, I would like to share. Because subtle pride is so subtle. It's like, who was that who said, that was Benjamin Franklin? I don't know, a very famous American leader. He said, he had made a sadhana card. I mean, what we call sadhana card. He wanted to cultivate certain qualities in his life. So humility was one of them. 13 qualities he wanted to cultivate in his life. So at the age of 13 or 12, one of his friends told him made some very harsh comments. So he said, okay, I want to improve. So he made a list of 13 qualities he wants to develop. Hard work, sincerity, humility, like that. And he would track whether those qualities every day. Before sleeping at night, he would see if he has worked on those qualities. And he would tick the boxes. So when he was 85 or 90, whenever he was dying, like after many, many decades, when he was on his deathbed, one of his friends asked him, you've done this whole life, you've been tracking your qualities that you wanted to develop. Did you actually cultivate all of them? What do you think? What does the report card say? So he said, of all the 13, I think I managed to develop 12. One I couldn't develop. So his friend asked him, what was that? He said, humility and overcoming false pride. He said, really? But other 12 you could develop. Why you couldn't develop humility? He said, because when I thought I developed humility, I became proud of that. It's so subtle. So therefore, we have to be always careful. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells in the Sanatan Shiksha that the seed of bhakti is planted by the Guru. Guru Krishna prasade paye bhakti lata bij. That is planted. Then we have to become gardener. And what do we do as gardener? We plant that, we nourish that seed and see that it becomes a beautiful plant with fruits and flowers to be offered to Krishna. So the watering of that plant is compared with, hearing and chanting is compared with watering that seed. So every day we are hearing, chanting, that is taking care of our bhakti lata bij. And then that seed also has to be protected. So there is a fence built to protect that. And that is compared to the Vaishnava association, where we don't commit offenses, we serve each other. And then you can't plant a seed anywhere. You can't just take any floor and put the seed. The soil has to be fertile. Only then the seed will grow. So that soil is compared with gratitude, humility, the qualities, We need to have Vaishnava qualities. Without cultivating these qualities, the soil won't be fertile for bhakti to grow. That's there. And then the fourth one is very important. We have to also pluck out the weeds. Because as the plant is growing, the weeds are also growing and they can throttle the plant. So an expert gardener will be attentive, alert, and he will also, with these scissors, garden scissors, he will cut off the weeds that are growing. That means seriously introspective. And then the fifth thing is, with all this done, we have to wait for the sunlight. That is causeless mercy. We can't do anything about it. So one is the Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed, and then starts hearing, chanting. Then the gratitude and humility, which is like the soil. Then the association, which is protecting us. And then plucking out the weeds, and then the sunlight of mercy. So all are needed. And as sadhakas, we can't absolve ourselves of the responsibility of serious introspection. So I know devotees, I know many sannyasis also, they do journaling regularly for introspection. But very interesting, journaling alone is not sufficient. Introspection alone is not sufficient, because introspection can be disastrous, because our intelligence, which is supposed to know better, intelligence becomes a lawyer for the mind. Intelligence is like, intelligence ultimately, the false ego has two bodyguards, mind and intelligence. See, the intelligence is contaminated. So our introspection will also be driven by the false ego. Like Adolf Hitler, apparently he used to write journals every day. And I do journaling workshops, so I give a disclaimer that introspection journaling is great, but it's not independent of itself. We also need scriptures. We need higher intelligence, because scriptures are higher intelligence. Because false ego is subtler than intelligence. So how can we with our intelligence control something which is subtler? So we need Krishna's intelligence. So scriptures are most important. Like these pastimes when we hear Durvas Muni, it's like, it's a wake-up call. And when we read these purports of Srila Prabhupada, when you are materially opulent, learn to be sober and well-behaved. It's like a wake-up call. Be sober, be well-behaved. So higher intelligence, that is scriptures, then introspection. These two are extremely important. I've seen sometimes we do introspection, but we don't study scriptures, then that is simply speculation. Sometimes we study scriptures, we hear scriptures, but we don't do mananam, we don't reflect on the scriptures, then that simply becomes a ritual. Like we chant as a ritual, so we hear also scriptures like a ritual. So we need to introspect, we need to reflect on what we read. Because when we hear and chant, it's like lighting a fire of bhakti. And when we do reflection, when we discuss with others and reflect, it's like protecting that flame, mananam. It's protecting that flame. And when we do nididhyasanam, when we start applying what we study in the scriptures in our day-to-day life, then that fire becomes a blazing fire. That bhakti starts growing. And then when we offer prayers to Krishna based on this culture of study of scriptures and chanting, then that becomes vandanam, then that burns all our sinful reactions to ashes. So therefore, scriptures, introspection are extremely important to tackle this. Otherwise, and I don't know how it works for grahasthas honestly, but as a brahmachari, especially as a preacher, after some time, we identify ourselves as a preacher more than as, what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's standard, what is our identity? Jivera Swarupayoe Krishnera Nitya Das. That is my position. I am a servant of Krishna. My identity is Aham Brahmasmi, I am a spirit soul. My eternal position is I am servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarupayoe Krishnera Nitya Das. But somewhere, because I am preaching all the time, every day, it's like living in a house where all the walls, ceiling, floor, everything is made of mirror. So you're only looking at yourself. So then this identity that I'm a preacher becomes completely overwhelming, that we forget that I'm a servant. So then Mahaprabhu says this verse, Naham vipro nacha narapatir napi vaishyo na shudro Naham varni nacha grahapatir na vanasto yatirva Kintu prodya nikila premananda purnamritabder Gopir Barthor Padakamlayor Dasa 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 Anudas. This is Mahaprabhu's mood. I am not a sannyasi. I am not a brahmana. I am not a kshatriya. I am not this. I am not. Who am I? I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis. Now this becomes simply lip service, because my identity is not, when it is not rooted in being a servant, then I am a preacher, and then the accolades, performance, YouTube followers, Instagram followers, that becomes more important. And then also, we may speak deep philosophy, but to be known as someone who speaks deep. That's how it's very insidious. It gets us. And then preaching becomes a performance rather than confessions. Like, there is after one class on false pride, my Guru Maharaj was giving. So one senior Grahastha told an amazing story. He was elderly, he was like around 75, 80. He said there were children creating a ruckus outside his house. They used to play cricket. Cricket is a very popular game in India. So he said, I wanted to get rid of them. And these children were they used to create a lot of problems for me. So what he did, very interesting strategy he adopted, which is what Maya Devi does with us. You know what he did? He called the children home after one of the days they were playing. He said, I love you children, you are so nice. You are playing cricket outside my house. I feel lonely. When I see you play, I become so happy. And then he gave them some food, some sweets, and gave them some, I think 1 rupee each or something like that. He gave all of them. He kind of honored them. You are so nice to me. I'm an old man. You make me so happy by playing. Thank you so much. And they were like, wow, we are enjoying playing and we're also getting, we are making him happy and we're getting sweets, we are getting this. So next day again they played. Again he was sitting there watching them play. And then after their game he called them in, gave them sweets. And third day again he honored them. After 4 days, I think the 5th day, he threw a tantrum deliberately. He insulted one of the boys. He spoke something very harsh in their house. So this boy said, what the hell does he think of himself? We won't play in his courtyard anymore. We won't play outside his house. We'll play somewhere else. So he said, I got rid of the boys in 4 days. So when I was a new devotee, I wanted to chant, I wanted to glorify Krishna. There was somebody, if there was nobody in the temple hall, still I would do kirtan just to glorify Radha Kalachandji. Krishna is so nice. But as I start getting accolades, praise, Prabhu, you are so good, you're giving so nice. We'll call so many devotees, Prabhu, for the class. Okay. Let's preach more. And then one day, how many people are coming? Oh, you got only 10 people. You should have got more. So then, hearing and chanting, which was like play, which was simply giving us happiness because we are giving Krishna happy, making Krishna happy. And now it becomes, we get something out. It becomes like a currency we used to get something else. I don't know who of that, a very famous, Buddhist philosopher, many years ago, I read this concept called spiritual materialism. He says that there is physical materialism, we acquire goods, enjoyment and all that. Then there is psychological materialism, that we connect ourselves to some spiritual organization or religion because we want to feel that I am good, I am safe, like that. And spiritual materialism is when we use spiritual activities to get fame and honor and possessions in this world. Like we are supposed to use everything for Krishna service, but we start using Krishna. Earlier we were using material things to get material things. Now we are using Krishna to get honor, fame, name, glory, and boosting of the false ego. That's how subtle and crafty the false ego is. Sometimes we get great realizations. I'm sure all of us sometimes get some good realizations. And how did we get that realization? Mercy, Guru Kripa, Krishna gave it. But immediately the false ego comes from the side and says, you are great. It's yours. And I'm like, yeah, it's mine. I don't know. I'll tell you once, I do this journal every day. So one day there are different types of journal I practice and I teach also others because it helps me. There is one kind of journal called blessing journal. It's like it helps you to offer prayers for others without they knowing that you're offering a prayer for them. It's very satisfying. So one day, because of doing it every day, one day inadvertently, a sentence slipped from my pen. I never thought I would do that. I actually wrote a prayer for somebody with whom I had intense differences and it had become ugly, in fact. He had accused me of, there was a serious character, questioning my character and things like that. It became very ugly and I was carrying a lot of pain and wounds in my heart. But now my life I had moved on. But one day when I was doing this journal, I actually wrote a prayer for him. And when I did that, I felt a huge mountain had been lifted off my heart. It was actually a moment of forgiveness. Although forgiveness is more of a process than a one-time event. It's not one time event. Over a period of time you forgive. But still, that day I felt I could experience the joy of forgiveness. I really felt, wow, what an amazing experience that was. And next day, how this mind, intelligence, ego nexus, I call it as mind for simplicity. So this false ego says, you have realizations on forgiveness. You could do workshops on forgiveness. You're great. So it was not mine. It was Krishna's. But then that's how we get intoxicated, and that's how it becomes a trap. So therefore, first is scriptures, introspection. Then another thing that really helps is awareness. Awareness means non-judgmental observation of what's happening in the inside world. The introspection is hard work, like plucking off the weeds. But sometimes we could also just practice awareness without judging. Just like the video camera is observing me without judging. You may be observing with some judgment. Like when will the class end? Or the room is very hot or cold. What is for prasadam? We may be thinking of different things. But the video camera has no analysis. So let us sometimes, at least sometimes, switch on the video camera inside of our consciousness and just observe what this mafia, ego, intelligence and mind. For simplicity's sake, let us combine them and call them as mind. So this is on my left side and Radha Kalachandji is on my right side. And I have always turned to my left and looking at mind, intelligence, ego. And yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. I need to turn my neck towards Radha Kalachandji and hear Krishna's voice. But that's why I like this quote of his Holiness Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, who said, first become conscious, then become Krishna conscious. So sometimes we need to become aware, simply aware, without the drama. Oh, this is what the mind is saying. So that is awareness. So awareness, introspection and scriptures. And the last is contrition, actually feeling repentance, which I feel will happen naturally when we are turning towards Krishna. When we turn towards Krishna, that will happen because Krishna's magnanimity, Krishna's beauty, Krishna's love will make us feel I'm so worthless. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur in all his bhajans, he is like, Gopinath ke mone shodhi be more, na jani bhakati karme jadamati podechi samsara ghore. Krishna, will you purify me? I am entangled in material life. Those 24 stanzas of this bhajan, each one is like a masterpiece. Beautiful exposition of humility, repentance. So these are some of my thoughts on this verse and this purport. This will keep us sober and well behaved, not carry grudges towards other Vaishnavas. So to summarize, the 5 things is, one is scriptures, because scriptures help us connect to higher intelligence. Then along with scriptures, to ensure that it doesn't become simply a ritual, we also practice introspection, which is like plucking out the weeds. And then awareness, non-judgmental observation of what's happening. And then repentance. And one very important point, the 5th one, I forgot to speak about that. It's a culture of gratitude and appreciation. Just appreciating others, seeing good in others, always appreciating others, seeing divinity around us, helps us access Krishna's mercy. And Krishna's mercy is, what is Krishna's mercy? Not that we get a good job or we get materials. Krishna's mercy is when we know who we are. When Krishna shows a mirror, Cheto Darpana Marjana, oh, this is what is there in my heart. Oh, Krishna. That's painful, but that's sweet, because that's mercy. It's one thing to intellectually know that I'm fallen, but to come face to face with our anarthas is actual mercy. And that is Krishna's gift. When we see good in others and appreciate others, then Krishna as a reward will help us see the bad in ourselves. So these are the 5 principles we could cultivate. Hopefully then Krishna, being pleased, will do his surgery of removing our false ego. And this is association with anesthesia for that surgery. Let us hold on to the wonderful Vaishnava Sangha we have, and that will be the anesthesia, as Krishna will inevitably perform his surgery. Right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Any corrections, comments? Most welcome. Hare Krishna. Yes, I see a hand there. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. Prabhu, in the beginning you gave a statement that here at Kalachandji you are serving, whether you like it or don't like it, you are still serving happily. So that I don't like it and I'm serving happily, there is a gap for me. So if I don't like it, I don't serve happily. I just serve it as a matter of duty. So how do I fill the gap, Prabhu?
Yeah. You know, sometimes the dressing, the deity worship, Shringar Darshan, morning greeting of the deities, Guru Puja gives us so much happiness. Like chanting sometimes gives us so much happiness, Hare Krishna. And we feel Krishna consciousness is so nice. The festival was so good. I felt so happy. The Kirtan Mela was so good. I was so nourished. This is great. This is Krishna's mercy. But sometimes I don't feel like chanting my 16 rounds. Has anybody here ever felt 16 rounds boring? Oh, I'm so happy you raised your hand so honestly. In India, sometimes when I ask this question, they look at each other. Should I raise my hand? No. Yeah, sometimes it is boring. So what do we do? Should we not chant then? Because I'm not feeling good. No, that's the time we choose Krishna. Radha Kalachandji, I don't like to chant today, but this is a time I am going to prove that I love you. I am going to prove my sincerity to you by chanting, although I don't feel like chanting. Because feelings, happiness is a state of the mind. It keeps going. Mind is crazy. Same person who you love, next day you can hate that person. What gives you happiness today can make you miserable tomorrow. Mind has unlimited drama going on. So today I don't feel like chanting, but Krishna, this is the time I'm going to prove my sincerity to you. So I will chant. The next 1 hour I'm going to sit like this and not move from here, and I'm going to chant although I don't want to chant. Because I love you and this is the way I'm going to prove my sincerity to you. So what we have done now? We have made a choice. This choice is more powerful than a Kirtan Mela that I've attended where it is only for me feeling good. So I was initially, I think before the class I mentioned about emotional bhakti. Earlier we were into sense gratification. As devotees, sometimes we get trapped by emotional gratification. Oh, I feel good. Today this is nice, so this is not nice. We are still happiness addicts. Emotional gratification. So there is sense gratification, there is emotional gratification, and then there is existential bhakti. Whether I feel good today or not, I will continue to serve Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. So that choice you make, and when you invest emotions in that choice, then you feel loved by Krishna, and that feeling of love by Krishna is a higher experience than the so-called happiness of this world.
Thank you so much.
I have one more thought to share here. I have experienced this many times, it becomes a ritual, like many things. Even deity worship, I'm doing every day practically sometimes during yatras. And suddenly I have to pause. And sometimes my mind, so then I see, even if we are not able to choose Krishna always and invest emotions, at least we can come back morning, night. There are devotees who spend alone time morning and evening, and then they are like, Krishna, I'm sorry, today I was spaced out during my deity worship. I was not present, but now I'm coming back to you. Now I reaffirm my commitment. I'm sorry, I was not present. Then come back. Coming back to Krishna is more important than the ability to choose Krishna always. Because happiness, this feeling of the mind, it is like always, it's very tricky. So, is that okay, Mataji? Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for wonderful class.
Yes.
So Prabhuji, I have a question that since our childhood, we are in the habit of getting appreciation from others just to, means elders, they do it just to encourage us to do more further, to go more further.
Appreciation, yes.
Yes. So somehow it comes in our habit to get that appreciation. Otherwise, we don't get encouraged. So all of a sudden, when we grow up, that humility comes. How we can like imbibe that mood, which is like very new to us. Like
Wait. I'm sorry. I just lost you here. You are saying from childhood we are getting appreciation? Is that what you said?
Yeah, means
We are
parents
we are looking for appreciation.
No, parents, parents appreciate us just to encourage us in our activities.
And then when
it gets embedded in our personality
Yes.
that we would get more appreciation,
we'll get
that
love,
we
we'll get
can go
appreciation.
more further.
Yes.
And as a devotee, when we become devotee
And we hear that we should not seek appreciation.
yes, and it's very difficult.
Wait.
Certainly it is there, but
It's okay.
how to get rid of it?
Don't worry about getting rid of it. I remember asking this question to Jananivas Prabhu in Mayapur. I told him, because I had been hearing few classes of my Guru Maharaj on false pride, that we should be humble and servant of servant, and Bhaktivedanta Thakur's quote that Pratishtha is like stool of a hog, and strong classes of my Guru Maharaj. So then I didn't have the courage to go to my Guru Maharaj and ask him that, how do I actually become humble and how do I actually not desire for name, fame? But I didn't have the courage. So I went to Jananivas Prabhu. And you know what Jananivas Prabhu said? It's okay to be proud. It's okay to desire. It's okay. But just don't leave the devotees. They'll humble you. They'll appreciate you. so I loved that statement. He said, you take a firm vow that whatever happens, I will not leave this devotee sangha. For example, I'm not saying you do take that vow, but if let's say you take this vow, then what happens? Then you get appreciation, but next day you will also get
Chastisement.
you will get. Devotees are very merciful. Krishna uses them as an instrument to humble us. I've seen, many times I say devotees carry bead bag in one hand, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And you know what they carry in the other hand?
Mobile.
They carry a needle. And our false ego is like pus. You know that sometimes you get this disease, there's pus formed, and when there is pus on your body, if you blow some air on it, it feels good. So some devotees appreciate it feels good. But some devotees will come with that pin and so I'm not suggesting that we carry a pin on our left hand. Let us carry bead bag on both hands. But others will humble us. Krishna will use devotees. At that time, how do we respond? We will get appreciation. Don't worry about appreciation. I'm sure we are not worrying about that, because in ISKCON we don't worry about prasadam. We always get prasadam. So we'll also get praise. We'll get appreciation. But if we hang around with devotees, Krishna will help us digest that praise. Sometimes, I'll tell you how it happens in our brahmachari ashram. So I give a class sometimes, and the congregation devotees sometimes love it. Prabhu, thank you for a very good class. And the brahmacharis whom I am staying with, my roommate, what would be his response? I think you will experience it, Grihasthas. Your spouse will give you the same kind of response maybe. So he'll come and tell me, yeah, great class, you finished on time. I'm like, what? You didn't appreciate me. No, but so the Grihastha appreciated me, and this brahmachari humbled me. But that is love. That humbling is also love. Unfortunately, we have a very screwed up definition of love in our head. We think love means he should tell me I love you, or love means he should speak kind words. No, devotees express love in different ways, very unique ways. We have one brahmachari in our temple. I've never seen him smile. He's always frowning. We call him the angry young man. He's always hard-working. He's so hard-working. And he's always ready to puncture my false ego. At the slightest. But when I was sick one day, I had spondylitis, and I was sitting on the top of the locker. He's 12 years senior to me in the ashram. So generally our mood in our chowpati, everywhere, is we serve our seniors. We don't take service from them. But he's 12 years senior to me, always puncturing my false ego. But when I had spondylitis, he quietly comes to me with this ointment, some balm, and he massages me for 45 minutes. And I'm telling him, no, Prabhuji, no. And he's like, shut up. I'm like, now I ask you, is that love? That's love, but he's also puncturing my ego. So we need to see love, although it may not be the way, according to my definition of love. Right? So another devotee he hardly talks to me, but when my father passed away, I was in Badrinath. I was disoriented, confused, so I ran to my hometown. I was taking care of my mom, and during those days we didn't have smartphones. So then he calls me from Mumbai. This is how our conversation goes in the morning. Bihari, how are you? Okay. How's your mom? Is she okay? Yeah, she's okay. Okay. You need anything? No. Okay, I'll call you in the evening. He hangs up. And at 6:30 in the evening again, religiously every day, morning and evening, he would call me. Now, because of whatever reason, childhood or whatever, he's not expressive. For whatever reason. But isn't this love? Calling me morning and evening. And he's taking care. So devotees take care of us, devotees love us, but their style may be different. So if we hang around with devotees, they'll puncture our false ego and they'll also love us. Is that okay, Mataji?
Yeah, thank you so much for a
Hare
wonderful
Krishna.
answer.
Yes. This Mataji, I've been raising her hand for some time. So.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you. So my question is about journaling. So I've been given instructions to be prayerful, like to pray every day to the Lord for some specific situation by my spiritual master. But then the thing is that initially I was struggling to coin my personal prayers to the Lord, like based on my situation. Because when we hear a lot of lectures about like Kunti's prayer and all other prayers, so those are like really very high level prayers. And then now you're saying that when you journal, but then your mind and intellectual, your realizations and everything you write down, but then not Shastra, you are not bringing there, then you said that the scriptures has the higher intelligence, and you should always journal, like all the realizations should be backed by the scriptures. That's what I think I heard that.
Go on.
So now when you're writing the prayers, that's a specific prayer. And you know, like if I'm writing my prayer because I'm suffering, so I want help from the Lord, then I heard like when Kunti is asking for suffering. So now the scripture is saying that all the sufferings are actually one kind of blessing. It's taking us towards the Krishna. But then I have to pray because I also have been given instruction, and also it's difficult for me to tolerate that. So I need also help from the Lord, so I have to pray. So now this dilemma is I'm facing all the time, like, but then...
so the dilemma is, should I pray for my problem that I'm going through, or should I only pray like Kunti Maharani?
So it should be like...
Wow.
The problem is like, because when we read, now we know this, all the sufferings are coming because of our own deed. So you understand intellectually that because of your own deed you are now suffering. So whom to then ask, what to ask then? Now,
you know, the simple formula here is be honest in your prayers. Honest, authenticity in prayers means, Krishna, I'm going through this struggle, please help me. Ask for what you want. And then tell Krishna, I don't know what to ask for. I'm a fool. I'm asking you to help me in this problem. But you please give me the intelligence that I pray for the right thing next time. But right now, solve this problem. I went through this. When I joined the ashram, we used to have monthly Bhagavad Gita exam. Very intense. And I come from an academic background. I had studied for 7 years doing, postgrad degrees and all that. So this disease of wanting to come first in the exam, competitive. And in my ashram, there were many brahmacharis who were doctors, engineers, highly qualified. So I wanted to be better than them, subtly. So then I would study intensely for these exams, and I would get 97, 98. And then at least 2 or 3 devotees would get more than me. So then I became desperate, and I would hear in the classes, we are servant of servant, we don't want any name, fame, all that. So this incongruence was troubling me. So I went to my mentor, Gauranga Prabhu, and I told him, Prabhu, I want to get more marks than you. I want to come first. But I know this is stupid. What do? He said, you ask Radha Gopinath, you ask Krishna what you want. But you end your prayer by saying, Krishna, I'm a fool. I don't know what I'm asking for. Dhruva wanted a kingdom greater than his great-grandfather. So you ask for it and then tell Krishna, Krishna, please give me the intelligence to pray for the right things. I'm a fool. So that way you're being honest also. You're also aspiring for something higher. Confess to Krishna, Krishna, I don't know whether this is the right thing to pray. Please don't give it to me if it is not right. But you have to be honest. See, if you want to join the army, they test your physical prowess, mental prowess. If you want to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's army, the test is authenticity, honesty. This is where I am. Not shamelessness. Sometimes we mistake shamelessness to be honesty. Prabhu, I'm very honest. I can't chant my japa. So, I'm very honest. So that is shameless. Honesty is to know where I am, but not remain where I am. Aspiring for something higher is honesty. So we can be where we are and ask, like one child, I see children here, I'm remembering, one child in our congregation, Aryan. We have a school, Gopal's Garden High School. He was running for his exam with his pen box in his hand, cardboard box where he would write answers. And on his right hand was Jagannath DT. And he was like running for the exam. I said, wait, what are you doing? He said, Prabhu, I carry Jagannath always with me. I said, it's a good size Jagannath DT. He said, what do you do? He said, I keep Jagannath in front of me in the exam, and as soon as I get the question paper, I first show the question paper to Jagannath. Oh, Jagannath, please see this. And then, I'm not giving ideas, I'm just sharing what this child was doing. And then you would write the exam. After his exam, he says, Prabhuji, after my exam, before the teacher takes away the paper, I show the answer sheet to Jagannath. This is what I have written, now you take care of me. I said, really? Then I told his mother. His mother didn't know because they have two altars at home. The main altar, and there is an altar of Jagannath Baldev Subhadra in his room. So he would take that Jagannath, he would actually kidnap that Jagannath from his room and get him for every exam. So I was marveled, I was amazed at his Krishna consciousness. In his own unique way, he was praying to Krishna for his exam. Srila Prabhupada says, when he was a young boy, he and his sister would fly kites and he would be praying to Krishna, Krishna, let my kite fly higher. So you are also praying for something like that. But you can always say, Krishna, I am a child, I want to grow up. I don't want to be a child. Please give me the intelligence to pray for the right things. And we can't imitate Kunti's prayers. I see these kind of prayers, Kunti's, especially this prayer, Vipada, Santuta, Shashwat. This prayer, I know many devotees, they have memorized Kunti's prayer, but they don't memorize this prayer. They don't chant this prayer. They say, if I chant this, and if what Krishna hears it and says, at that particular point of time, Tathastu. So be it. So I see these prayers as the element of praise. See, every prayer should have praise, gratitude, forgiveness, request, all that. So the element of praise for me is when I repeat the prayers of Gajendra, Prahlad. So I put them in that praise category. Oh, this is how we praise Krishna. You are so amazing. Like Kunti Devi is praying for this. I can't pray like that. But as we are praying for our own things, we should remember Kunti Devi, she must be experiencing something because of which she is okay to get troubles. I mean, no person in his sanity would ask for trouble. Anybody here who has no troubles in life? We all have our cup of woes full. We don't want more. And here is Kunti Devi saying, give me more. She's actually not asking for more. You know what she's asking? She is wanting Krishna's presence because she's getting something when Krishna is present in her heart for which she's willing to trade her misery. She's willing to get misery in exchange. Like one boy in our Chowpatty slum area, there is a slum area near our, I'll end with this, I think we are over time. I'm sorry. This is a very, very interesting story. One boy near the slum area, an orphan, never had parents in his life. And he was, one day while playing cricket with the children, he fractured his feet. And he was groaning, he was wailing in pain. So they dragged him to a charity hospital nearby where an elderly nurse took care of him and brought him back to good health. He was an orphan. He's an orphan. He never knew what a love of a mother is. But he got so much love from this nurse in those 10 days that he was admitted. And when he came out of the hospital and then he was playing cricket again with his boys, he kept looking at the direction of the hospital. So his friend said, why are you looking, what are you looking at? He said, I want to get that fracture again. You think he wanted that injury again? Was that what he was really looking for? What was he looking for? Love. So when we read this kind of prayers of Kunti, Prahlad, we are like, oh, what are they experiencing with Krishna? There is something there for which they are willing to get misery. They're willing to go to hell. Vasudev Dutt is saying, I will go to hell. Let me take all the sins. There is something they're getting from Krishna. I want that. But at the same time, we know where we are. So please, Krishna, help my brother. I'm struggling with some family things. I keep praying for and I feel sometimes, but that's being honest. We need what we need, and we're not there yet. So, like that. Is that okay? So, shall we stop here? It's 8:38. Yeah? Who is in charge? Yeah? Thank you. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Kalachandji Bhagwan ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, there is prasadam arrangement also has been done, so please take prasadam as well by Her Grace Kumkumangi Mataji. Hare Krishna.